Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Joseph Mercado here, author of The Undiscovered You. And what I'd like to do is continue on Chapter 2 from yesterday, as we did Chapter 1. I just want to do a little book reading with you. So let's delve right into the information so I can share this with you so you can carry this positive influence throughout your day. Healing your negative thought, number 2. Making a positive change. And the key word in this inspirational quote is change. A person who wants to change is a person who is willing to make the necessary sacrifices it takes in order for internal and external change to take place. And here's the summary, the definition to back that up. Refrain from being afraid when it comes time to changing a bad habit into a good habit. Fear not. You are helping yourself become a better person. It takes sacrifices in life to succeed. If you're not willing to run that extra mile, how do you expect to ever be ahead of the rat race? Millions of people are fighting for the same piece of cheese. It's absolute greed. Instead of going after the entire chunk, take small pieces at a time. And that will allow you to accumulate the rest of what exists outside the struggle. Be not the rat that runs, but the runner of the race. While everyone else is fighting for the greed, you're eliminating the negativity and following the path that leads you to positive change. And just to backtrack a little bit to the inspirational quote, if you really want to be a person who wants to change in your life, there's certain things you got to stop doing. Like when you come home from work, don't jump on the couch and sit down and get yourself comfortable and start watching TV and shows that just really don't pertain to your life and that make no sense and that don't add value to your everyday well-being. Now, don't misconstrue what I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with watching TV and relaxation. That's totally fine. But if you're doing the same old on a daily basis and getting the same old results, it means you're not getting anywhere. It means something has to change. You have to be willing to make a little bit of a sacrifice in order to get ahead in your life. Because it's not going to do anything for you if you're resting all the time. Remember, there's an old saying, the longer you rest, the more you rust. So avoid that from happening by taking a little bit more of a mode of action towards the things that you want to accomplish. And you don't want to let fear get in the way. There's a lot of things you don't want to get in the way. Whether it's fear, whether it's your doubts, or whether it's your own, maybe it's just you're sabotaging yourself and you're shooting yourself in the foot by thinking something that's not so, such as, well, I'm not going to be able to do it because I can't, I'm not good enough, I don't have the money, or I don't have the right resources, I'm not capable, I never saw myself as being an entrepreneur. Those are all things that you're just saying to yourself. It's negative self-talk that you're doubting yourself. Once you doubt yourself, you doubt anything around you, it'll never come. You'll never have what you want in life. You'll always be struggling. You'll always be going through the same routine. You got to change and break those habits and be willing to engage in that change internally. The change takes place inside before you can see any results happen on the outside. So before traveling down this path, you must first create it in your mind, again, to make it part of your reality. Now here's a self-help question I want to ask you. You should ask yourself, are you willing to face your fears and positively represent yourself as a stronger person? You have to be willing to seek the strength or acquire the strength. Sometimes you got to perform certain exercises in your life. It's like going to the gym. You're not going to get stronger if you're lifting the same old weight all the time. You got to increase the weight, even if you lessen the reps, increase the weight until you're able to increase those reps and then lift more weight as time goes on. It all takes time. You got to have patience. If you don't develop the patience, you're just going to create more of a difficult road and more of a complex path for yourself, which is going to take you a lot longer for you to get where you want to go in life. So the key word of inspiration here is fearless. It's an adjective. Just be fearless with things that you want to do, that you want to accomplish. If you have a family, that's even more important because you want to be that example to your wife, to your husband, to your kids. You have to be willing to make the necessary sacrifices it takes in order to receive what you have not yet received in your life. The quote category here, again, is change. Always be willing to change, even if there's a little bit, even if it requires something. There's always going to be a requirement in order to get ahead in your life. It's not going to be easy at times, but you got to take the good with the bad, the negative with the positive. I mean, you could always redirect any of those negatives, anything that's bad, into something positive. It's all about your perception, how you see it in your mind to be. So the universal law of direction is the law of representation. The law of representation tells us that what you represent from within yourself is how it's going to be seen, not only towards other people, but it's the influence and the energy that you're going to give out. The book of recommended reading here is Be Positive by Phil Clements. I always like to recommend a good positive read inside of the information that's shared. Because it's not just my book that's going to help people. It's going to, don't get me wrong, the Undiscovered You can and will help you as long as you apply it. But there's other means and sectors of information that can help you get to where you want to go in life. And on top of that, you always want to add to your library. Having a library of positive information can only help you better yourself. So I want to read to you a quote of fame that lines up with the information I just read you. So here we go. The key word to this quote of fame is awareness. Let us not look back in anger, nor forward in fear, but around in awareness. This is by James Thurber, who is an American author, cartoonist, and short story writer for the New York Magazine. So you want to be able to be aware of what's wrong in your life in order for you to make those changes. If you're not aware through self-awareness, you're not going to be able to make the change. How are you going to know what to change if you're not aware of it? Make sense? So the law of replacement example in this chapter is you want to replace anger, which is a negative, with awareness, which is a positive. Be aware of the anger that you feel in here or in your mind that's creating that emotional disrupt so you can make that change and you can redirect that pattern that's creating the anger. Anger takes place inside the amygdala of your brain, which creates different forms of negative emotions, because we all experience one thing in common, well, a few things in common, but the amount of emotions that human behavior has is 54 human emotions. And those can all go in various directions, which create different various and shapes and forms of anger. But you got to be able to change that through your self-awareness. Once you're aware of the anger, it makes it a lot easier to become more of a happier person. I also like to share some biblical truth with you. I always like to throw something spiritual in there for you to leave with you so you can feel spiritually uplifted, because that's important. I always believe that your spirituality has a lot to do with your mental capacity and your mental achievements. So this biblical truth goes like this. Listen, I tell you a mystery. We will not all sleep, but we will all be changed in a flash, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. For the trumpet will sound, the dead will be raised imperishable, and we will be changed. For the perishable must clothe itself with the imperishable, and the mortal with immortality. When the perishable have been clothed with the imperishable, and the mortal with immortality, then the saying that is written will come true. Death has been swallowed up in victory. Where, O death, is your victory? Where, O death, is your sting? The sting of death is sin, and the power of sin is the law. But thanks to be God, He gives us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ. Therefore, my dear brothers, stand firm. Let nothing move you. Always give yourself fully to the work of the Lord, because you know that your labor in the Lord is not in vain. And this biblical scripture can be found in 1 Corinthians 15, verses 51 through 42. 15:51. That's the Bible passage. So, as a result of closing with that message, I just want to encourage you to continue discovering the person who you are and who you're destined to be in life. And always know that there is a greater purpose that you serve from what you're serving now, even if it's something real positive that you're going through and that you're serving. Continue on that path to success. And if it's something negative that you're facing in your life, know that you could just redirect that negative to something positive so you can become more healthier. Because the more positive you think, and it's not just positive thinking is only a tool. It's not the answer to life's problems. It's just a tool to help you seek further understanding so you can encounter and come in contact with the solutions that you need to make it through each time that you face a circumstance, a situation, or have an issue. So I just want to thank you for your time and attention today on Tuesday, January 19th, 2016. And if you want to find out more information about the Undiscovered You and claim your own personal copy, you can go to www.thelawofreplacement.com. Again, that web address is www.thelawofreplacement.com. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This is Joseph Mercado here, author of The Undiscovered You and founder of Mastermind University. Thank you, and have a positive day.